Thank you for being here. I'm going to give a brief little introduction and share some of my experiences with the white buffalo calf medicine woman. Um, that is who we are channeling today. First of all, she is a powerful being. I've been moved to tears, and primarily not sad tears, but tears of compassion. And she has a lot of patience with me as the channel. She also expects all of our interactions to be incredibly pure. That's something that I noticed right away, is that she has a lot of respect for innocence, for children, for animals, for the divine innocence of Gaia. She sings a lot. This is another thing that I notice about her, is that there is a constant sound frequency connection with this being. She has never been incarnated. She is a sacred being of light, and I always see her enshrouded in light and coming in and out of sort of like a mirage of a white buffalo. And sometimes she's dressed in the skin of the buffalo and it covers her head and her shoulders, and then I see her body. But I also sometimes have a hard time distinguishing between what is her body and what is that of the white buffalo skin. And that's very, very interesting. And then she'll turn completely into a buffalo and many times, and then back into the other, the other part, so she's going back and forth between, what looks like a human and what looks like a buffalo, like fading back in and out. The first thing she wanted to do, the first thing she said to me was, "I will teach you my sacred pipe song." And I don't speak a lot when she speaks. I just really respect her. She's a holy, sacred being, and I just listen from my heart. But she gave me two different versions of it, and one of them I could not pronounce very well, and the other one I could. So I will work with the one that I could. And for the first description of it, with the first song that I really couldn't pronounce, I'm not sure if it was Lakota or not, but she is really strongly connected to Lakota and all Plains Indians, all Plains peoples of indigenous natures. And they're strong. She respects their strong connection to Gaia, and they respect their connection to her. But the first one seemed to be like more for Plains people as a whole. And with the interpretation of that song, she did write down that interpretation. So I'm going to read it back to you with what she said this morning. And here is the interpretation of it. It is, "With this sacred pipe, I enter the center of the world to pray and meditate. I pray and meditate for the whole oneness of creation, that all beings shall live and thrive in goodness and health, and that the whole oneness of creation be blessed by Lakota pipe song." And that is the interpretation of the first one. The second one, I'm still seeking interpretation for and still learning, but it kind of felt like she was saying something a little bit like, this is how you hold the pipe, and this is how you use the pipe. So this is how you do it. And she says that, she repeats that like 3 times. And then she says, and when you use the pipe, grandfather will bless you and connect you to all of your desires. And she doesn't mean worldly desires. She means heart-based desires. So that second song that she taught me felt more like like a connection to heart manifestation, which was very 6-dimensional, which, by the way, for those of you who are wondering, she is a 6-dimensional being. So she made me sing this over and over and over again for 3 days straight. So it's only fair that I attempt to sing it to you and hopefully will not butcher the language. So are you ready for a Lakota pipe song? My throat has been really bad for about a month now. I feel your blessings. Thank you. All right, let's go. cho, con la leche cho, con la leche cho, hai chanu kiri chona kishila winea ortela hai con la leche cho, con la leche cho, con la leche cho, con la leche cho.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I've had 3 days of practice, and for those Lakota who are watching me, if I, for any reason, did not pronounce anything appropriately, please accept my heartfelt apologies. But I have been practicing significantly to share that with you, just to get you into her spirit, because that's what she sounds like to me when I hear her. She says that over and over and over again. And because I can't pronounce anything else that she says thereafter, she generally stops there.
Yeah, and so to me, it felt very confident. It felt very strong and very, together. And
She is that way, absolutely. So she wanted to discuss a few things that she knew that Lakota would ask in order to center forth the connection and validate the connection to her people. So there are 7 things that she wanted me to talk about. And they're all very sacred and very important. And I wrote them all down, so I'm just going to read them all back. She wanted me to discuss something that she calls konupai, which is one of the sacred rituals that she brought to her people. And there's what she told me about it is there's this great deal of ceremonial symbolism in the Lakota pipe ceremony. So, and there's a lot of divine feminine and divine masculine interpretation of the pipe itself in the way that, because there's a part of it that's flat like this, and then there's a part in the center that goes up. So when I first saw her, she handed a red pipe to me, and it was a bottom portion like this, and in the center like that. And she said that is the connection to divine masculine and divine feminine. And red was unique to the blood of the Plains people being integrated into a certain, what appeared to be a stone bowl that she was handing to me, that they would make out of the lands. And she said that's why we have red dirt, because it represents all the wars that have occurred. And it was really hard for her to talk about that. I am Cherokee, and we've experienced a lot of wars. And it was really hard, but she said that it also represented a cleansing and a purity, so that peace could occur, with the indigenous Plains people. Cherokee are very different than Lakota, at least from my personal opinion as a Cherokee woman. But she does not view this as a problem. She views that everyone is special and sacred, and what she wants to stop happening is for indigenous people to think that they are being disrespected, or for white people to think that they're disrespected. She wants everyone to really honor the unity and the oneness of Gaia, and understanding that Lakota are some of the first people that ever inhabited and protected these very sacred lands. And she respects that, and they respect her, and we respect Lakota and all Plains Indigenous tribes and nations, including Cherokee Nation. But I feel that coming through a Cherokee woman, she knew that she could teach a little bit to me about unity and oneness, and she knew that she could teach this to all people, regardless of your race or culture or affiliation. So basically her general message is, please be one and that all tribes are one anyway. Stop fighting and go into peace. That's just me giving a synopsis of the whole message of everything that she probably will talk to you when I go into trance about. So starting with the Kunupa, there's this ceremonial symbolism in this pipe ceremony. And it's, not only the marriage of the sacred marriage between the divine feminine, which represents the stone bowl that we were discussing, but the divine masculine, which represents the stem of the pipe. There's also the 4 elements that she wanted me to discuss. So air, obviously, which represents the smoke, and human breath of life. So that is life to her. The pipe bowl, which represents fire when you light it, just fire in the bowl, and water. The wooden stem and the herbs, are whatever you put in your pipe, that represents water. And this also represents 4 kingdoms, animal people, plant people, stone people, and human people. When she uses the pipe, she invites her people to view them as one breathing, living, flowing soul being cleansed and purified by the pipe, and going into that first part of the 7 sacred rituals of her people. So second is the Anapai, which is the sweat lodge. And a lot of you here know what that means. And the Anapai means literally what she taught me that it means is to live again. So anything that you are experiencing in your path, if you want a rebirth from it, this is the first step. So this is purification. The Anapai is a purification rite, and it's important to begin your vision quest with this. So the vision quest we'll discuss here in a moment, but it starts with the sweat lodge. And it kind of helps you go into sort of a state of humility, which basically takes your ego out of your body and places it over here. I don't know for those of you who have ever gone through this kind of ceremony. As a Cherokee Nations woman, Deer Clan are really, my clan is incredibly attached to the sweat lodge ceremony. And when you sit through the sweat lodge, you literally disconnect from a part of yourself in order to observe that part of yourself, which denotes the beginning of your vision quest. So this is why she wanted to discuss what that is. And from that moment, you become a seeker because you're connected to all the powers that the pipe prepared you for, the earth, the water, the fire, and the air. And in the old days of Lakota, the Anapai was done before any undertaking of purification, and it helps you kind of gain strength and individual empowerment so that you could enter the 3rd sacred rite, which is the vision quest. Hanblecha. She said I just completely butchered that word, so I apologize. But it is spelled Hanblecha. So you, as the seeker from this point, go into kind of an isolation. In my Aboriginal past lifetimes, we call this the holy rites, the walkabout. There's many things that we would kind of go off by ourselves. Many cultures call this different things. So you go there and you remain kind of by yourself for as long as you need to go through your quest. And the quest will vary based upon, the tribe's culture and the purpose of your seeking a vision, what your inquiry, what your intention is. So a successful vision quest would cause you to have contact with what the Lakota call your guide or your spirit helper. So this guide, you will see that being first. And then what happens is when the guide presents himself or herself to you, is often signaled by this really strong visionary experience that's really felt strongly. Sometimes you'll have contact with an animal, your animal totem will show up. And then what happens is you literally cry out, it's like everything within you comes forth. And Lakota call this like the vision cry or a cry for a vision. It's very interesting, and it feels almost like a lament, like a sadness, like you're to the point of exasperation normally with the sweat lodge experience. And you cry out, for the vision. And then what happens is you come through and your shaman, or what the Lakota call the Wikasa Wakan, which is interpreted as the holy man, comes through, and in Cherokee Nations, we just call it your shaman, would come through to advise you and help you interpret what you just saw. So that's pretty much what happens in the vision quest. And then we have the, oh gosh, I'm going to really slaughter this word. Well, I'm not even going to try. So we wang wachipi, which is the sun dance. So that speaks for itself, and it's more like a celebratory essence of honoring the sun. And in other cultures, it's very similar to sun gazing, except add a dance. I can't do it justice. She will if you ask about it when I'm in trance. So the hunkupi is the fifth one, and it is the making of relatives, is what the Lakota call it. So that's very interesting. It's like meeting soul family, pretty much what it is, and you're kind of really, really connecting. And the sixth is a very important sacred rite called the keeping of the soul, which is a safe rite. It's a very interesting thing to connect you to who you are and really find out on a deeper level. And the keeping of your soul just basically prepares you for anything that you will experience in this life or the afterlife. And then there's the divine feminine sacred passage, which they call this, the interpretation of the Lakota phrase for it literally means preparing a child for womanhood. So as normally around between 10 and 13, depending upon which tribe, they'll start doing that. And there's different ceremonies which basically prepare her to honor the divine feminine in her. So that's that. All of those experiences were really, really wonderful to go towards. And the sacred rites have been in existence. She is the one who gave that to her Lakota people a long time ago. So if for any reason you are experiencing visions during this trance channel of the red pipe, she may be talking to you about cleansing and releasing of something, standing in your power, and then peace, pretty much in that order. If for any reason you see black, or a black symbology, or a black pipe, that would represent your connection to the West. This is a lot about north, south, east, and west, the pipe. So if she presents you with, and you get in your vision, a black pipe. So that's something about releasing something that no longer serves you, because, the sun sets in the west and the day ends, and it's like an end of something that you need to go towards. I was just given that 3 days ago. Good times. Not really a fun ceremony, but who gave it to me was Black Elk. So he may or may not be here in this channeling, because I've been getting him coming along with her. And then synchronistically enough, someone asked me also 3 days ago if I could possibly channel him. So if anybody has any questions for him, feel free to invoke him and ask. I don't mind, because they seem to be coming through together, and he pops in and then pops out. He doesn't have as much patience with me as she does. He's a little bit more strict.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So also, I'm sorry?
Does she have a connection with the eagle?
She definitely does. She definitely does. She calls it the Thunderbird. When the eagle comes in, it comes in various ways, and she calls it the Thunderbird. And normally when I see that, when I'm connecting with her, the bird comes in from the west, and I got this vision of a lot of rain and thunder and cleansing of my life whenever I was connecting with her, particularly starting 3 days ago. And she's been my dominant guide since then for this journey.
Fun times.
Yeah, the rest represents water, so it's cleansing. If you get any visions about a white pipe, that signifies the north. So this kind of is a really, in my opinion, even a harder season, and it represents the harshness of the winter season, and it represents air and cleansing and purification by air. So what she told me about the white pipe, she gave me a vision of trying to see it again without crying, leaves would fall, and it would be this, I was starkly cold, and I had to go into my fear of cold, because for those of you who know me personally, I have an immunological condition that's rare and genetic, and it causes my antibodies to be extremely resistant to cold. So she brought me into a journey, and she was like, now die to the cold. And I'm like, really? You want me to die in the cold, and I can't connect to you until I die in the cold? So I literally went through the whole death experience by freezing to death. And with my condition, it was immensely painful. And then I became a tree. So in my vision, my body began to merge with a tree. I have a strong connection to the tree collectives. And then all of my leaves started to fall off. And then they would like gently fall to the earth and rest under just feet and feet of snow. And she then said to me, well, if you have the ability to face winds like the buffalo with its head to the storm, then you have learned patience and endurance, which was very personal to me, because when I was 5 years old, after I first sat with Yeshua, he said, what is your first thing you want to learn from me? And I said, patience. And I've been learning ever since.
Well, that's not so easy, I think, right? The patience.
It's hard for all of us. So generally, the white pipe and the direction of the north stands for hardships and discomfort for most people who are being past the white pipe in their visions. So north represents trials that people endure and cleansing that they must undergo in order to move forward in their life. So I went through that as well. That was last week. What else?
So it looks like you're actually answering part of the question that I'm looking at.
That's good then. Yeah, and also she wanted me to discuss those colors in particular. She said that there are many colors to the pipe. There's yellow as well, and then there's a green that most people don't like. It's not actually on the medicine wheel, but it's there as sort of a given. Like that, her people know that it's a given. So when they're praying and meditating with the sacred pipe, that they add these two other directions, which are sky and earth. So this represents the Wankantanka, which is the Lakota word for great spirit, which is Lakota asks for that they be filled with great spirit at all times. So the Wankantanka dwells high, like an eagle in the sky. So when you ask for presence of Wankantanka, you connect with the energy of the eagle. And this is how she came to me. The second time she came to me, it was through an eagle. And this direction's color is blue. So that's that. And then the earth, which is the other element that she comes through, represents Divine Mother, and Grandmother, from whom, we receive our nourishment and our healing. So when you need healing, the color of that direction is green for growth and replenishment and restoration of all growing things. So when you really want to grow and heal, you can ask for that. So these are different things that you can ask for when connecting to her. I really, really, really wanted to share all of that. So now that I'm done, we can go forth with your questions. Do we have enough questions between Patreon and here?
So what I did was I went to Patreon and then I copied and pasted into here. So now we have 13 questions together.
Okay. And make sure that my earbud is actually in my ear. Can you withstand the innocence of your own presence? Can you transgress the disempowered beliefs that has captured and suppressed you, the bondage of time and war? Are you ready to release what has done and bring forth the beauty, innocence, power, and creation of what will be? Your deeper truths, my people, are in your hearts. You may speak with me if you maintain purity of essence.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. So we would like to ask, what is your message to the Lakota people today? Are the ways of the sacred pipe just as strong today as they always were? How can we live within your vision with Mother Earth, the universe, and your medicine path?
Release yourself from the bondage of belief. The trials of the mind are profound and limited. I am not here to rapture you. The pipe is the key to the release of all war, of all blood that is shed upon my lands. We are one, my people. But when will you embrace unity and release the separation of yourself and the white man? When will you release your bondage, your disempowerment? You have believed that you are suppressed. And you are holding up your fists still in your hearts. I ask you to release them. This is no longer a war, a fight. The lands are always yours. Why fight for what you know? The sacred ceremonies of the pipe have been in place throughout the beginning of time that you have created. You have believed that it is not as powerful. And this is true when you are operating in the material planes, when you are operating in physicality. Then the sacred rituals are not as pure. I ask you to connect, to reconnect, to birth, to rebirth, to transform, to transcend, to emerge into the oneness that is beyond the human totality. I ask you to open not just your eyes. You see what you wish to see, but you still see war and degradation and shame and disempowerment. I ask you to see from your hearts. And when you honor this, you honor me. When you honor me, you honor all who came before, and great-grandfather and grandmother. I thank you for hearing me with purity. I do not fault you. I love you.
And we love you. Thank you so much. So someone's asking about a neurological problem. in the left side of the head and eye. He expresses gratitude. You'd like to know what else one can do to make the illusion of illness and pain go away.
When you call upon the holy nature of your ancestors, it is acceptable to release shame. It is acceptable to trust the hands of the holy man within you, to stand in the loving vulnerability from the hands of grace that beseech you. You are safe. You must face and traverse and circumvent the concept of time, for it has its hold in your body. You must face your pain, with or without the fear. Come face to face in a vision. Ask for the embodiment of pain to confront you, and know that you are safe in doing so. Merge with your pain. What does it stand to teach you? Listen to your pain. Do not be afraid to feel your pain. It is your greatest master, and you are a willing student. And when you stand in the humility that pain presents, you understand that fear is no longer relevant or appropriate. I send you with my blessings. The journey cannot be easy, and I bless you with mercy.
Thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful, and accurate message. Thank you so much. I'm sure it's very helpful for that person and for everyone here today. We would like to know about your perspective on the sun dance ceremony today, and also the moon dance ceremonies that women are gathering for more and more. Again, I appreciate your perspective.
Within the rising of great-grandmother, she represents the holy feminine, sacred woman, the purity, innocence, and feminine love that shall arise from Mother Earth and Great Spirit of all lands. I commend you for the beauty, and I appreciate your ceremonies. I lift my hands to the sky in celebration of all that is great-grandmother and great-grandfather, for the unity of the divine feminine spirits on this planet and the divine masculine power on this planet, not one without the other, for one cannot be without another. Do not lift one more so than the other. You are empowered women. I thank you.
Thank you so much. We want to know, do you have a connection to the sacred white lions?
There is glory and equality in all of the beasts of your land. This is one that is a profound connection, more so to black elk.
Thank you. What what is the best kind of incense to light for cleansing and detoxification besides sage and frankincense? And also, what do you consider the best kinds of medicine for physical pain?
You must face your pain. Face her, love her, send her the respect and the power that she deserves, and she will honor you with the hands of mercy that you are worthy of. Cleansing through the air, the breath of life, the inhaled and exhaled breath of the holy man. Connect to the nature of all that is ceremonial within air, water, earth, sky. Please understand that physical pain is here as your teacher. Within many ceremonies, you may burn cedar wood, sage for cleansing. Within the burning of the cedar, you may form an elixir of water through the root of yucca, and your pain will temporarily cease if you have not mastered and honored it. If you have, it will permanently reside as a component of your very being.
Thank you very much. What kinds of advice can you give to the healers of the world?
Healers, you must be healed. Feelers, you must feel. Knowers, do you trust the knowing? Seers, take off your blindfolds.
Thank you very much. Can you tell us about mental illness? So many kids, so many young kids, teens, and others cannot handle well keeping the high frequencies and strangle a lot. Anything about depression? How can we transcend depression? How can we help those who are depressed? Any messages for those who suffer from depression?
Why do you beseech components of your very soul as being ill? Remove your blindfolds. You chose your lessons. You chose your vision, but you are not seeing your truth. Your illness is your greatest teacher. Nothing is wrong. Beliefs are not your master. You create with your beliefs. But when you fear them, they are temporarily your master in disguise. When your blindfold is tightly wound around your faces, I humbly ask that you remove them. I humbly ask that you operate within no definition from disease. You are at a disadvantage when you believe that you are diseased. You are simply not at ease in your souls. It is becoming relevant that you honor your bodies more often than you presently do. My dear brothers and sisters of Earth, I ask that you learn from these children, for they have more to teach you than you would currently understand. Just listen. They are raising the children from within you that have not been raised. They are lifting you out of disempowerment into the utmost significance of empowerment of Gaia. Listen to them. Listen not with your heads, but with the purity of your hearts, and then you shall learn.
Thank you. How and through which song can we activate you as a healer within us?
Start always within the pipe song. And I hand you my pipe now, great speaker. And you believe that you question this channel. I hand you the white pipe, and I ask you, within the weeks and coming months, to release your concept of time, to stand forth within all planes of existence. For your nature is innocent, but you, my dear sister, must believe so. You, interviewer of this channel, I call forth your loving beauty as a divine representation of all that are listening. Do you consider my request?
We're really truly honored to have you here with us and speaking to us and giving us this frequency. Why some colors, curious, I'm just going to read this one because curious to why some colors when worn as clothing could cause a negative shift in energy. Years ago, every time I wore the color red, something bad would happen to me. Like car wreck, flat tire, any situation normally avoided occurs if this person wore red. Why is this? Is the color giving off the wrong frequency for this person? Is it something that should be looked at more closely? The color itself, the red color?
It is not wrong. It is not bad. It is exactly what you called forth in any given moment. You are honoring the red pipe. You are releasing the impurities, the unworthiness that is karmically bound within your very nature and within your contracts. What would you seek to release now? Can you hand that to me? Can you place that in my hands now? I beg of you to release your pains and your sufferings. For it no longer is the light within your darkness. Stop stumbling around in the dark. I am here to embrace your every moment, to be the placemat for your very steps forward. Do not fear.
Thank you. How can we use the breath to heal our physical body?
Call upon the great spirit of the air. Ask for the presence of the eagle and the thunderbird that will bring cleansing rains. You will transcend and release your pain with the cleansing rains. For those of you who are brave to ride the back of the thunderbird, you will then speak to the spirit of Great Eagle, and the presence of Black Elk guides you.
Thank you. those of us who are extremely connected to animals and elements, how can we be even more connected and improve our healing power through this connection?
Your answer will be sacred and holy and unique to each of you. For you, dear sister who is asking the question, it is spirit of eagle and spirit of bear. But simply the allowance of the presence of any animal when called forth in the vision quest is what you shall honor and trust. And then your connection will multiply and go forth into the land, and all animals will be at one with the spirit of great-grandmother and with you. Respect the lands, respect the animals that grandfather has provided as your companions. You are not their master, and they are not your master. Stand in unity with the spirit of all of the animals who help you, and then the healing from these animals will extend into your hands, into your hearts, into your voices, into all of your actions. Words matter not, but what you do for Great Spirit is pertinent and of importance in these holy times of emergence and transformation.
How can we work with you in our day-to-day lives, and what would help us to connect with you?
It is simply by the purity of the asking, and this is how you connect. If your heart seeks me from the place of humility and grace, I will honor you and bless you with my presence. Ask from the purity and the humility of your child within, not from your minds, but with the innocence of a child. This is how you come to me, and I will not speak or come into your presence until you come with purity of heart and without the programs of your mind.
Thank you. That was beautiful. How do you recommend to do emergency grounding?
You have never known the great spirit of air. You do not connect with breath. How can you perceive the great spirit of earth if you do not breathe first and connect with the great winds and the great spirit of air? Ask first for air to become your truth, and breathe the color blue. Stand forth within the pipe ceremony with a heart focus and an intense focus of breath. Within your vision quest, the color blue will be presented to you in a unique, sacred way that is only known by you. Breathe from this blue pipe. Next, cleanse with the spirit of the thunderbird and call forth his presence. And watch as you release all emotions that no longer serve you. The human collectives at the present moment wish to release shame. Let's do so now.
you. Tell us more about the Rainbow Warriors.
If you are alive in these present moments, my dear sisters and brothers, you are the Rainbow Warriors. The rainbow represents the connection to all elements given by the Wankantanka, a great spirit of air, great grandmother and grandfather of time. Connect beyond human time now. I ask, within the presence and humility of your spirits, that you continue your release of shame now, going forth into all humankind. You are warriors. But how do you perceive and define and label this as such? What are you fighting for? Fight for yourselves. What is worth the fight? For you. Is it your religion? Is it your culture? Is it your political structures? Are you fighting for the paper that you so greedily take from the trees? And is that your grand resource? The money? If you must fight, fight peacefully, protectively, defensively, and fight for love, for it is the only thing that is worthy of the warrior and of the warrior's fight.
Thank you so much. Are there any other messages that you would like to share with us for our highest and best? And this person has a son, Rowan, I think he's called, and he wants to say hello.
Hello, my dear Rainbow Warrior child. You certainly are teaching your mother. Thank you. And thank you, dear mother, for agreeing to bear this child into earth at this operative time of unity. You are present with your child. Release your shame that you are not raising or burying him in the ways of Earth's expectations. The tribal woman within your very nature knows better. Be the mother that you are, and forgive yourself when you feel that you have not. My message is for the mothers on this planet. Just listen and learn. You know best for your children. Do not allow any school, religion, parent, or otherwise tell you what to do, for you are the divine mother of this child, and he is your greatest teacher. And my final parting message is, cease war. The fights are within, have always been within. And if you must fight for your lands and for my people, do so. And remember, love is the only thing worth a fight. Hi.
I think that's an absolutely great message for all of us because it's so true. Love is the only thing that matters. Thank you so much. So I think we have time for a couple more questions. Someone says that she sees you as a dove. What is the significance of this vision?
I call you to the great spirit of air for release and cleansing. I call you for your purpose of unity and peace. I beg you to be at peace within yourselves.
Thank you. What does a balanced earth look like from your perspective?
It is beyond the current and present comprehension of your human minds. There are sounds without sounds, colors that you have never seen before, visions that are unencumbered by your concepts of time, many existences and planes of existence within various dimensions, and within one moment, you are in another timeline, while simultaneously experiencing your body and divinely creating from the presence of great-grandmother and grandfather and the spirit of all that is. When you have released the shackles of time around your feet and wrist, you will perceive and understand the beauty that already is and has been Gaia. For she is not limited, only you have been.
Thank you. How do we heal or create connection with Mother Energy when our Earth Mother relationship has been tainted with pain or has been less than nurturing or confusing?
Be the divine mother to someone else that you wish for your inner child. Mother yourselves, love yourselves. Mother your wounds with the root of yucca, with the cleansing of cedar, with the ceremonial rites of passage. Stand in humility and forgive your mothers. Forgiveness is the key to mothering yourselves and being the mother to many more. The children of Gaia need you and command your presence as mother. Please forgive your mothers and forgive yourselves.
Thank you. We're working on forgiveness. When one has a birthmark from a life as a Native American, what does this happen? Why does this happen? And or is there something that needs to be released?
This is your passage of humility, standing forth in your power. This is the call of your purpose. Honor it, whatever it may be, and do not seek it as a passage into shame, but as a passage into power.
Thank you. Can you explain the difference between white wolf and black wolf totem?
Which wolf will you feed? The white, who represents the cleansing and the peace and the purity. The black, representing the end of the transition, the death of the ego. This is not a this or that question. One cannot be without another.
Thank you so much. If someone sees a blue bird all the time, could you share what this could mean for a person who sees that?
Follow the guidance of Great Spirit within your heart. It is your compass. It may mean something sacred to you that would be different from the passage and rites of another. Ask your heart, how do you feel? What are you trying to say to me? Ask your heart this question. Your answer will come, for it matters not if I hand you an answer. It matters more if you seek your own.
Thank you so much. But you mentioned the of yucca. Is this a good food to include in the diet? If a person eats this weekly, could this help the person?
The root of yucca is a sacred plant medicine of my people and is to be used with respect and with discretion.
Thank you. Does Black Elk have anything additional to share with us today?
When you shake your fist, I shake you by the shoulders. Do not command respect. Show respect to others. Stop asking for what you want. Be what you are. For the man who holds offense from a tongue is a man who will bleed to death from offense of the heart. Do not bleed from the wounds of the warriors of my lands. Bathe in the cleansing power of that blood. And within this metaphor, I leave that I will arise to hand forth the great staff of power with the presence of our elders. When you cease the commanding of power, know your power. Do not shake your stick at your elders. Do not shake your stick at the white man. Do not shake your stick at any man, for he is your brother. Hold the hand of all humankind as you would your very own brothers in all tribes, in all cultures. Hi.
Thank you. To end, we would like to know about the prophecy of you coming back. Have you come back?
Dear sister, I simply answered your question just now. I will not arise forth within the carnations and bodies, within a limited physical presence, while my tribes still command power externally.
Thank you so much. We would like to thank you for all of your guidance and for being with us when we call upon you.
I am often with you when you call. Standing in your power involves humility, respect, and unity.
Thank you. Please wake the channel.
Sweaty hands. Oh, my heavens.
She's a no-nonsense kind of person. Thank you.
Who were you talking to that made my hands sweat just now? Gosh. My whole body is sweating.
Me too.
And all of a sudden I feel like a man, so that's very weird.
Well, it's about power. but masculine and the feminine.
Yeah.
Black elk is very, very powerful. But I know that you have to run to pick up your children, so I had to wake you up.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for everyone that was here today. I think I'm going to leave now and try to remember that I'm a woman. I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm listening to what Maggie just said now. She said black elk was certainly a shift. Were you channeling one and then you asked for another? Is that what just happened?
We asked a question of black elk, and there were some questions about, there were a lot of questions about duality. So her message.
Did you get him all riled up?
Well, the message, in my opinion, from my perspective, is all about oneness. And that's what she's here teaching us. It's all about oneness and unity consciousness. So there is no duality. There's no room for duality in that.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Pamela.
Oh, thank you. How was your experience as the interviewer?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It was quiet, no sound disruption. It was just really, really good.
That's so good. That means our new microphone is working for everything that we've been doing. So apparently I just need to wear these more often, as much as I don't like to.
One ear.
I still feel weird about that. I'm wondering what microphone, if it switched microphones when I did this. But I don't think it did. Let me see. No, it still says I'm using the Yeti Pro. Okay, I guess it didn't, so that's perfect.
It was smooth sailing. It was just beautiful. I loved her presence.
Yeah. Well, guys, we have, I wanted to tell you, Susan, she told me that she was going to give you a personal message during this channeling. Did that happen? She did?
She did.
Did she make you cry?
No, because I don't do that when I'm on camera.
Me either. I try not to either.
But I'm going to have to listen to it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because she told me she was going to give you a message, and I'm like, don't make her cry.
Cried.
Well, she put you on the spot, huh?
She did. But, I'm strong too.
I know you are. That's why she chose you. I didn't choose you. When you said yes to being my interviewer for this, she went, yes, you. And I typed her words to you.
She's beautiful, powerful, and strong. And I loved her. I love her.
Yeah, I do too.
And I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you too. Guys, next, I think here at the end of the month, next week, we have the channeling of the Tree Collective and the Ancients. They're coming in together now, which is kind of what I expected to happen. So that worked out well. So for those of you who feel like you lost that experience and opportunity to speak with the Tree Collective, you did not. They will be with us next week. So I will see you. Next week.
I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. That's also going to be a powerful one. Okay. Bye. All right, we're going to end here now. Bye. Thank you, Susan.
Okay.